Welcome to the Red Wagon Estate Planning and Elder Law Show, hosted by me, yours truly, Jeffrey Bellomo, where we discuss all things estate planning and elder law, and, well, hey, anything else we want to talk about. Today, we are definitely going to be on the fringe, for sure, of the elder law category, because I have my dear friend, Carrie Aalberts. Carrie, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Excited to talk with you.
Cannot wait to talk to the Dementia Darling. I am so excited about this one. This is going to be so fun for me. But before we get into the podcast, as always, I just want to remind everybody the legal disclaimer. Please do not take what you hear from this show, or any other show for that matter, to constitute legal advice. If you are looking for legal advice, please call an attorney licensed in the state that you reside in who practices in the area of law that you are looking for advice in. Once you meet with them and discuss your specific facts, they will be able to provide information to you, and that will constitute legal advice. What you hear on this show should be used for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. And sure, we'll talk about some things that will be able to help you and your family, but until we discuss specific facts, we will not be able to give you specific legal advice. At Bellomo and Associates, we educate so that what happened to my family does not happen to yours. We offer free educational workshops on a weekly basis. We have workshops in the area of pre-planning, where we discuss powers of attorney, wills, trusts, as well as crisis planning, where we discuss what happens if you or a loved one is going to need skilled care in a nursing home in the next, say, 6 months to a year. We also provide life care planning workshops, post-death administration workshops, and special needs workshops. So if you or a loved one need any of those areas, please give us a call at 845-5390. That is 717-845-5390. Or check us out on the web at www.bellomoassociates.com. That's B as in boy, ELLOMO, associates spelled out with an S.com. We would love to be able to provide the education for you so that when you're in crisis, you know the answers, because now is the time to learn, not when you actually need it, when things are very stressful. So, all right, awesome. Well, Carrie, introduce yourself a little bit. Tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Yes, well, thank you so much. I'm Carrie Aalberts, and I go by the name Dementia Darling. And my journey really started when my grandmother was catapulted into her dementia journey, and overnight my dad became a family caregiver. So I was 6 years old, and then she passed away when I was 13. So that kind of, I think, laid the foundation that would later turn into my passion. When I went to college, I was able to go to the University of Nevada, Reno, and focus my studies in gerontology, which is the study of aging. And so I got my bachelor's and master's focused in those, in that realm, and specifically Alzheimer's care. During that time in college, I was working at an intergenerational adult daycare center. So there was a preschool on site, and they would come hang out with the grandpas and grandmas I cared for twice a day. And it was pure bliss, if you ask me. It totally solidified why I'm on this planet. And through, after leaving there, unfortunately, I had to move. And so I went into other senior care, assisted living, memory care. Right. And through this work I was doing, I've been in the senior care industry for about 12 years, but through this, I am constantly seeing this same thing where it's all, when I meet a family caregiver, I was honestly one of the first people in years to hug them and say, how are you? Are you doing okay? Because everything's about the person they're caring for. Yep. And they're never asked if they're okay. A lot of people don't understand what they're, going through and how heavy their journey is. And so just the validation and giving someone a hug and saying thank you, I saw how impactful that was to the people that I met in my life, day-to-day work life. And so I realized, okay, if this is what I'm seeing constantly in my work, there's millions others out there. How can I hug them figuratively online? How can I do this? And so I started my Instagram, Dementia Darling, in October of 2019. And 5.5 years later, it is my full-time job, supporting caregivers online and traveling and speaking for a living. It is completely my full-time job as Dementia Darling. So it is a dream come true. And I just am dedicated. Like, this is why I was born, is to do whatever I can to cheerlead dementia caregivers, whether family or professional.
That's incredible. All right. So are you working all over the all through all the states or a certain area? Wow, everywhere.
I'm
Incredible.
international, actually. I spoke in France last year, and yeah, it's amazing. It's unbelievable. I was just in Alabama last week. I spoke for 6 hours straight. I did a 6 hour workshop for 100 nursing home and assisted living professionals. So I'm always trying to share about compassionate dementia care and fighting the tragedy narrative. And we need to show that there is joy, there is love and life to be lived, and it's not the end of someone's life when there is a diagnosis of dementia. So I really want to help change this narrative we see.
Wow. So you're looking for speaking engagements and different facilities to speak at, and then also the end consumer. Holy cow. You have a very complex business model.
See, that's what's hard is like people are like, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out exactly where my piece of the puzzle is because I'm just trying to fill the need where I can.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I haven't honed in on certain things because I'm just like, well, I want to do this and I want to do that. And then I'm trying it all. So I'm only a little bit over a year into being on my own. So just figuring it out along the way.
All right. So I'm sitting in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
I'm a caregiver and I'm listening to this and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I want to learn more. I want to get to learn from what am I doing? Where am I going? How am I learning more about you and what you do with Dementia Darling?
Absolutely. And first off, if you're a family caregiver listening to this or a professional caregiver, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all you do. And I hope you have the support in your life that you deserve. And please do not be scared to speak up about your situation because you have no idea how many people are going to relate with you and see and validate you and are ready to help. We just have to speak up, and we haven't gotten there for everyone yet. We don't feel like we can. So I just want to encourage you to do that. And sometimes the easiest way to start speaking up is looking online for people. And that's kind of where my world is the dementia and caregiving community on social media is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen and been a part of. Social media can be a scary, toxic place. The community that has been built in the dementia caregiver community and just caregivers at large is one of the most safe and beautiful places I've been able to be a part of, and I'm so grateful for everyone who shares their story. And even if you don't share it on social media, just seeing others that are sharing their story that you can relate to is huge. So I say to you, go and look for people that you can relate with online, and I can be one of them, but you can follow me to see all the other ones that I share everyone because I just want us to see that you are being seen. Every caregiving situation is different, so I might not be your person, but there's other dementia educators that, focus on what you're dealing with, or there's a caregiver that's your same age sharing the same, type of daily stuff you're going through. So looking on social media, looking under hashtags dementia, things like that can be really helpful. And so you can start off by following me on any of your social media. I'm on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook. Instagram is where I'm coolest. So Instagram is Dementia Darling. All of them are Dementia Darling. YouTube. But come see this community. Come just feel that you are part of something. And I think it's just very powerful to know you're not alone and to see these other people.
Now, are you facilitating the groups, or how is that working?
No, I mean, on my page, I like to, this is a safe space for people to interact in the comments, and I'm there to support as well. And I try to do my best in, my messages. It's hard. It's a lot. But just, being aware too, if you're going to join, Facebook groups and stuff, use your discernment to see, how the vibe is. If it's kind of a negative group, you don't probably want to get stuck in there. But, there's great caregiver groups. There's AARP caregiver, groups you can join on Facebook that are private, and you can go in there and write anonymously. I mean, those are great. But when I share, because one of the things I like to kind of be an expert, if you will, on is the resources available. So I like to share all the apps that are coming out that are free for caregivers to look at and talk to each other, so you can be in safe spaces for that. I share about Hilarity for Charity, who I work with a lot. That is Seth Rogen and Lauren Rogen.
Yeah.
That's their Alzheimer's support for dementia caregivers and all the things and the awareness they bring. And they have the best support groups. millennial support groups, male support groups. Like, you can find your people. And so I try to share those as much as possible, because we need to find safe spaces. And sometimes we don't feel like we can share on social media. So finding those groups can be really powerful. But there's a lot out there for you, I promise.
That's incredible. And if I'm an organization and I'm hosting an event with caregivers, or I'm doing something and I'm listening to this, what kind of speaking? I know you mentioned about speaking, and you were in Alabama, I believe, recently.
Yeah.
And so what kind of stuff are you talking about?
All the things. I need to kind of hone it down, because I have like a whole menu, because dementia, it's so vast.
Yeah.
It's so vast. I could talk about dementia forever. The 6 hours I had, I ended and I'm like, I could have gone 3 more hours. Like, we have so much to talk about. But my main thing that I find to be very powerful, and I love to speak on, are the difficult symptoms that are often labeled behaviors in dementia care that can be so hard, and different behaviors from, and I say behaviors in quotes because it makes it so negative, and it's not something they're in control of. It is brain change, and it is them communicating to us, and unfortunately it comes out in these different quote unquote hard behaviors, which and that's the number one reason for people turning to community care and getting more support, is because they can't handle these behaviors at home.
Yeah.
And so I like to talk about all the different behavioral and psychological changes that come with this brain change, so that families and professionals can understand that it's not personal and it's brain change. How can we change our mindset to see what their world is, to step into their world? Because when we understand what's going on in the brain, we can better support them and kind of take them out of the equation of, this is my person I love, but let's take that away and say, this isn't my person doing this on purpose, and it's not my person's fault. It is the dementia, and it's the brain change. So sharing those and those different symptoms, and then how to handle that, and how to communicate appropriately and find the triggers that lead to these things. That's my biggest presentation, is those behavioral issues, and then how to communicate.
Years ago, I was a very young attorney, going back, I don't know, 15, maybe 18 years. And I remember being in a room. Oh man, it's going to come. Teepa Snow.
She's my hero.
I remember it was the first time that I was introduced to the concept, but also being placed into their shoes and what it feels like to be them, and with the glasses and with all the different things that she did to kind of disorient you, to make you realize what it feels like. And that was one of my most life-changing days that I've ever had, just because, man, it's easy to be in your own perspective, but to actually know what it feels like, not being able to see or hear or smells and just all kinds of things. I mean, it was fascinating. And ever since then, I've just been, wow, that is an incredible area.
I'm so glad you had that experience, because Teepa Snow is the OG. She is I've been studying her since my first day of gerontology school, and now I partner with her, and I'm on, I was on a show with her called Dementia Divas. She is everything. So, she's just my hero. I love Teepa. Please, if you ever want to start with someone, go to Teepa Snow's website. I know it's a name you really haven't heard usually, so you can find her. Teepa Snow is not hard to find online. And yeah, she's incredible, and something that I'm excited about, because you're talking about the dementia live simulation kind of thing that they do. It's gotten so much better. And I work for a VR company as their social media rep. And they've created in VR an entire experience to understand what it feels like to not feel understood, and to not see and hear correctly. And you have to do certain tasks, but it's all simulated for you to get the empathy of what's happening.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a great day. She's a wonderful presenter too. And
she's the best.
Yeah. We host some local stuff here, Making a Difference seminars every year. And we have some local really good speakers. But I'm so glad that I got to hear her first, just to kind of understand who the OG is, as you say,
She's the best. Yeah,
That's amazing.
absolutely.
That's incredible. And you've had would you say Dementia Divas? Was that the name of it?
Yeah, we filmed 2 episodes called Dementia Divas out in Connecticut. We went 2 years ago now. Wow, I didn't even have my pink hair yet, and it was Dr. Macy Smith and her were the main divas, and then I was the third that would come in and do some stuff in the first 2 episodes, and just getting your makeup done next to your idol is kind of insane. I had a very much pinch me moment. She was probably scared of me. I was just like crying.
Yeah.
But it was such an amazing thing. And now I'm in November, she's keynoting an event and I'm on all the marketing with her just because I'm going to be there. And it's just worth two names in the biz. So it's kind of cool. It's unreal.
Yeah, and I did not know that connection, as you know. Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, I think for anyone listening, 2 random thoughts. One is, I think the hardest job in the world is to be a caregiver.
Yes. Hardest job in the world.
I always start every workshop when we're doing something with caregivers. I say, first of all, you have to put your mask on first. You get on an airplane and the flight attendant comes to the front of the airplane and says, in the unlikely event of cabin loss pressure, and there's a reason, right? You can't help people if something happens, and I think oftentimes as caregivers, you put everybody else first, and oftentimes you end up seeing them having the issues first, or passing, or
Very much
the
so.
panic attack, or the stroke, or the heart attack, or whatever, fill in the blank.
Blood diseases from stress I've seen. I mean, thank you for acknowledging them because I agree. I always say, my thing is caregivers, dementia caregivers should be paid what an NFL quarterback is paid. I am sorry.
Oh.
Like hands down, they have the hardest job mentally, physically, emotionally, all the things, the grief they are carrying. This progressive disease can go on for 20 years. Like they can be doing this for years and years and most of their life sometime. Now I'm, meeting young people taking care of their young parents. This is not just a older person's problem. This is a very serious problem that can happen at any time in your life.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And then the other thought I had was just, understanding the person who is suffering with the disease, just, being put in their shoes a little bit, whether it's the VR stuff that you talked about or, man, until you know what it feels like. And even I still don't know what it actually feels like, but just being kind of placed in that scenario, you have a whole different perspective. I mean, it's crazy.
You do. And for anyone that's, is worried about their own brain or thinks that, has a diagnosis of dementia themselves, there are supports for you as well. And that's something that is very not, I feel like, known about. And I just want to shout out the National Council of Dementia Minds is a group made of people living with dementia, and they're advocating for living well. And I am obsessed with them, and I'm doing a CEU course coming up, and I've partnered with them with my partner Aaron Fish to get all of our information vetted from a board of people living with dementia because they are the experts, not us.
That's
and we
so
need
true.
to keep that in mind. How do we, nothing about us without us is what they say, right? And so we need to make sure they are part of this conversation. Same with caregivers. When we're building for caregivers, when we're supporting caregivers, they need to be a part of this. So if you do have dementia or you're looking for support for your loved one living with dementia, check them out for sure.
Well, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't aware of that. I only know of a couple books in this, particularly for caregivers and how long the days are and what that looks like. And is there anything that you would like to recommend to listen or read? I could be listen or read these days, couldn't it?
So many.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would have prepared for this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I promised you would know all the answers.
No,
Carrie.
you're
I'm
good.
so
But
sorry.
no. I just the AARP just came out with 2 books for caregivers.
Oh, wow.
And so I know
Sweet.
of that one for sure. Yeah. But I can send you a list to put in the notes.
Very
and
cool.
I have an Amazon storefront where I put all my favorite books. But there's a lot coming out from past caregivers, and I love reading ones from past caregivers and their journeys. And the one that is coming out is in September is Emma Willis's book, Bruce Willis's wife.
Yes.
And and that's coming out. I actually have that right here. Wait, I got to interview her recently.
Oh, wow.
And it's called The Unexpected Journey.
Oh, wow.
And it's finding strength, hope, and yourself on the caregiving path. So this is her journey with Bruce, and it's going to have gold information in it. So this comes out September 9th. So that's coming
Wow.
up, things like that.
That's
And
amazing.
and Teepa Snow's books, of course, are
Mm-hmm.
incredible. But look online to, so Teepa Snow's podcast, if you just want to put that in while you're carrying, her podcast, gold.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I'm trying to think. Oh, Lakeyln, her podcast, it's Home Instead, has a podcast. I was actually on it this morning for agitation and dementia, and she helps so much in caregiver world and just how to keep your people safe and how to keep you safe and cared for and all the things. So I will make sure to give you the name of that. That's Caregiver
That's
Chats.
amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things I also like to talk about and to just mention is to the children out there, if your parent is providing caregiving, be understanding, be sympathetic, be empathetic, I don't even know all the right words right now, but
I know.
I find that it's so easy for children to judge and maybe I'm being a little picky here, but man, until you're in in their shoes and providing the care or being the person, it's tough. Like, man, really tough.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. And we aren't built for this, to watch someone go through something like that we love. But, really standing up for, and showing up for your caregiver parent
Yeah.
is huge. And both parents, of course, but caregivers feel so isolated. And, a lot of those older generations will not ask for help.
Yeah.
And we kind of have to just show up and kind of just do it so they will accept
Yeah.
it. Like you said, it's just so often that people get sick before their loved one passes, and you are just as important as your loved one, and your health is just as important. Yeah.
And they need a break. They need some time to go to the store or get their hair done or
Take a nap, breathe,
whatever. Take a nap. Yeah.
something. I mean, you meet caregivers that haven't left their home in years, and you feel so isolated. You feel like you're a prisoner in your own home, as I hear it all the time. And that's why it's so important to make our world more dementia friendly, so people feel that they can go out and go to restaurants and not be judged if their person does something strange. We have to get into a world where we are more accepting of people.
Yeah. I've talked a little bit about this on some of the podcasts, but I don't know, is it a year now? I think a year ago. Yeah, it wasn't two. I think a year ago now, my father-in-law fell off a 3-foot ladder and
Oh, I'm so
hit
sorry.
the back of his head and had a brain bleed but it wasn't. I was driving him home from Florida. He couldn't fly yet, and we needed to get him up here so we could get him care up here and stuff. And the conversations that, or should I say the discussions and the yelling in the car coming home about, he knew enough to know that we were driving confused, angry, agitated, all of the things that you would expect. I mean, completely. But I just remember thinking to myself about an hour into the trip, I now understand what caregivers go through, because you can't take this stuff personally. I mean, he's not saying, he doesn't mean the things he's saying, and I know that, and I'm fully aware of that. But it was the first time that, other than her training, that I actually was, for real life, I was in it. And some of the things that was coming out of his mouth and the words, and I was like, oh, I totally get it now. And my wife, it's her father, and she said to me, how did you? I said, because it wasn't him. You can't take that personally. That is not him talking. Like, I know that. I'm well aware of the fact that that was not him saying those things. And she's like, I just don't know if I could have pretended. And I said, that's why. And that's why I drove him home, right? That is exactly why I did it, and not his daughter. Like, there is no way that you can take that stuff. But boy, put yourself in their shoes for just
Yeah. And when our frontal lobe is affected by brain damage, that's when we see those changes in personality. So sometimes with like Bruce Willis's type of dementia, it's FTD. So that means his frontal lobe was touched first, not his memory. And when we only think memory, we're going to get a misdiagnosis. They're going to say he's just mean now. He has depression, or he has a different, type of thing going on. And it's like, no, it still can be a type of dementia without memory loss. We're just seeing changes in personality. This is one of the biggest things is caregivers are like, my mom used to be obsessed with me and now she doesn't care. She's apathetic. She doesn't even
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
Like she, won't even say I love you back. She's mean now, and it's like that's that frontal lobe damage,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and it is not fair. And that's what is. I feel like caregivers are gaslit a lot because people go, "Isn't it just their memory? It's just memory. It can't be that bad. You're just sitting at home chilling with your loved one."
Whoa.
I'm sorry. We're dealing with so much more, but people just see dementia, memory loss, and that is furthest from the truth.
Yeah. Wow. And I mean, that would be a lot easier, frankly, right? Than some of the other stuff. Like,
Yes. I mean, we're dealing with
Wow.
incontinence. We're dealing with, unsafe situations. We're dealing with having to support them in all daily routines.
Yeah.
I mean, this is no joke.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah.
No joke. Oh man. I knew when we started today, before we hopped on here, I was like, this is gonna fly. And
I know.
sure enough, it went exactly as I expected it to. So just do me a quick favor here, just one more time. Let everybody know how to find you, your groups, your social media sites. If anyone's looking for a speaker, how would they find you, and what would they expect from you? So.
Yeah, absolutely. You can check out my website, dementiadarling.com. Getting better at adding stuff on there, but I just add everything to my Instagram. Instagram is where you're going to see it all. You're going to get almost a post a day with a tip or encouragement, shout outs of love, resources, something. So social media is kind of the best to see like everyday stuff. And but you're welcome to reach out at info@dementiadarling.com at any time and email me if you need specific resources, supports, or need a speaker. I'm always here to support you.
That's awesome, and you're helping people all over the United States, also in other countries. You just spoke in France, you said, right?
Yes, I did. So
That's amazing.
a lot of my following is out of actually my third biggest country that follows me is Nigeria.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then I have a lot of followers in the Bahamas. So yeah, this is needed information, and people can't find it in their country. So it's just very humbling. I had a gentleman reach out and say he translates all my posts into Chinese for his dad in China. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you. Well, keep up the good fight. We really appreciate it, and it's definitely needed. And man, we thank you so much. And to the listeners, if you're sitting out there and you're a caregiver, please look up the information, get support, get in the groups, get the information, try to find a training session that you can go to, because it's invaluable and it will really help you. And I can't say it enough. So thank you very much, Carrie. Thank you to all of my listeners. Thank you for joining us on the Red Wagon, Estate Planning and Elder Law Show, hosted by me, yours truly, Jeffrey Bellomo. Until next time, we'll see you real soon.